Hey folks, it's Lauren from Snowy's here. Today, taste testing the Offgrid Venison Stroganoff.
Hit it.
It's shelf-stable food that comes in an easy heat pouch, loads of flavors available, and it's fresh, not dehydrated. Hold up fam, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss any awesome content on the Snowy's channel. Let's get into it. So your meal is 250 grams, plus about 16 grams for the physical packet itself. So that 250 grams is the net weight of the food. The package is, or the pack itself is 22 centimeters tall by about 14 centimeters wide. And depending on how you pack your meal and how chunky the food is on the inside, it's probably a couple of centimeters thick, maybe like 2 to 3 centimeters thick. So it comes in a really nicely sealed heat-proof bag, because obviously you are going to heat it in the bag. There's a couple of bits of information on the back here, the name of the meal, a bit of a description of it, your ingredients list. You've also got your nutritional information there. We've got information on storage and handling and how to heat up your food. You've got a best before section down the bottom there, which is going to be roughly around about 12 to 15 months from the date of manufacturer. And then we've also got on the side here, you can see 2 different tear points. Now, because the off-grid meals come in 2 different sizes, whether or not you're sort of getting a vegetarian or a side like rice, or you're getting a main meal, it will determine where you can rip the bag. It also will depend on if you've got a long spoon or a short spoon or whatever is going to be easier for you to access your food. The other point to mention is, because it is fresh meal that you're going to heat up and boil, it's not going to have the Ziploc attachments like you would on dehydrated food, where you pour the boiling water and you have to seal it up again and wait for your food to rehydrate. So once it's open and you're ready to eat it, you're going to have to eat it all, unless you have an alternative storage option for your food in your pack, which allows it to not spill. So let's heat it up and have a taste. So obviously, to heat up your food pouches, you're going to have a heat source that allows you to boil water that you can then put your food pouch in. So obviously you're going to want something that gives you a little or enough water to cover most of the food that you've got sitting in your pouch. We're using a jet boil flash here that I'm filling up with a bit of water here. You can also use any other hiking stove with a saucepan with water in it. You can also use a general camping stove. You can potentially even use a saucepan with water in it over a campfire. The off-grid food pouches are also microwavable. So if you want to have these at home in your shelf for a quick meal, you just need to tear along the top here to open that up a bit to allow for steam and pressure to come out whilst you're microwaving it. But otherwise, assuming you're off camping or hiking or doing some lightweight adventuring, you're going to be using a little stove like so. So I'm just going to get that water up to boil. So I'm going to turn it down just enough to keep it on a rolling boil. And then I'm going to slide our food pouch in. Now, once your food pouch is in the water, you're going to want most of your food that's in the pouch to be covered, and you're going to want it to be sitting at a nice rolling boil for around about 5 minutes. Okay, so we've cooked this one up or heated this one up here for 5 minutes. So I'm just going to turn the stove off and set that to the side. Now, given that the food here is nice and low, for the purposes of the camera as well, because I want to give you a really good look at that, I'm going to tear it across on the lower section of the bag. Hopefully a nice straight line. So having a look in here, you can see, what have we got in here? I'll get my spoon, give it a bit of a mix around. It's nice and saucy. We've got some very obvious mushrooms, and it looks nice and creamy, and let me get out these chunks of, so there's some very legitimate chunks of meat in there. And what else have we got? You can see some like chives or spring onions, some herbs. So we're definitely looking at some real food here. We're gonna have a little bit of a taste. Now, I haven't actually eaten venison before, so that's actually pretty tasty. The sauce is not too strong in flavor. The sauce is nice and creamy. It's not too salty. It's also a perfect amount of heat after that 5 minutes. But the meat has really good texture and tastes definitely like meat. I had a little bit of onion there as well. I'll get out this little bit of mushroom. have a bit more sauce too. Yep, there's a bit of pepper in there. Mushroom tastes good. The sauce is nice and creamy. It literally does taste like I've just cooked this myself ultimately. So that's about it for the Offgrid Venison Stroganoff with wild venison, mushrooms, sour cream, onion. As I've said, beautiful texture, really tasty, you know, nothing too crazy or extreme, genuinely just tastes like a home cooked meal. You can get this and a whole range of other off-grid flavors at snowies.com.au.